A very good evening to one and all. In our previous video, we had discussed on LoRaWAN topology, LoRaWAN security, and LoRaWAN competitive technologies. Today we are going to discuss NB-IoT and other LTE variations. Then standardization and alliances, topology, competitive technologies, and characteristics of different access technologies. As we know, existing cellular technologies such as GPRS, Edge, 3G, and 4G/LTE are not particularly well adapted to battery powered devices and small objects specifically developed for the Internet of Things. Whereas long term evolution LTE device, the aim of this device was to both align with specific IoT requirements such as low throughput and low power consumption, and also decrease the complexity and cost of the LTE devices. This resulted in the definition of the LTE_M work item. Narrowband Internet of Things specifically addresses the requirements of a massive number of low throughput devices, low device power consumption, improved indoor coverage, and optimized network architecture. The standardization and alliances. The third generation partnership project organization includes multiple working groups focused on many different aspects of telecommunication. For example, radio, core, terminal, and many more. These are aligned with 3G, LTE, or GSM. The IoT related contribution is handled by either third generation partnership project or GSM Edge Radio Access Networks Group. LTE Cat 0, that is a new user equipment category, is having following thing. Uplink and downlink throughput is now reduced to 1 Mbps. User equipment can have now one antenna instead of having two antennas as it has before two antennas. Reduced user equipment receive bandwidth to 1.4 MHz allows for substantial complexity reduction. The user equipment will still be able to operate in all existing LTE system bandwidths up to 20 MHz. A lower user equipment power class will allow integration of power amplifier in a single chip solution. Cat 0 characteristics. In that, first one is power saving mode. This new device status minimizes energy consumption. The energy consumption is expected to be lower with power saving mode than with existing idle mode. In power saving mode, it is defined as being similar to power off mode, but the device stays registered with the network. By doing this, the device avoids having to reattach or re-establish its network connection. Hence, it will not consume much power because we are avoiding reattach or re-establishment to its network connection. Similarly, hop duplex mode. This mode reduces the cost as well as complexity of a device implementation because a duplex filter is not needed. Yes, most of IoT endpoints are sensors, and we know that sensors will not generate data in a huge quantity. Hence, we can say that we don't require duplex filter. And by doing this, we don't require full duplex communication requirement. As we have stated, sensors will always send low amounts of data. The characteristics of the LTE_M. Lower receiver bandwidth. As it is stating, bandwidth has been lowered to 1.4 MHz versus the usual 20 MHz. This further simplifies the LTE endpoint. Lower data rate. Data is around 200 kbps for LTE_M compared to 1 Mbps for Cat0. As we have studied Cat0 characteristics, we stated that bandwidth is 20 MHz in Cat0. Similarly, Cat0 is having 1 Mbps data rate, whereas our LTE_M is reduced to only 1.4 MHz bandwidth and data rate is reduced to 200 kbps. Third characteristic is half duplex mode. Just as with Cat0, LTE_M offers a half duplex mode that decreases node complexity as well as cost. Here, both LTE_M as well as Cat0 uses only half duplex mode because we have studied that sensors will not generate data in a huge amount or in huge quantity. Next characteristics is enhanced discontinuous reception, that is EDRX. This capability increases from seconds to minutes. The amount of time an endpoint can sleep between paging cycles. A paging cycle is a periodic check-in with the network. This extended sleep time between paging cycles extends the battery lifetime for an endpoint significantly. The work on narrowband IoT started with multiple protocols pushed by the involved vendors, including the following: extended coverage GSM, that is EC extended coverage GSM, Ericsson proposal. This is proposed by Ericsson. Nokia proposed narrowband GSM, that is N_GSM. Huawei or Newell proposed narrowband machine to machine. Qualcomm proposed narrowband orthogonal frequency division multiple access. Narrowband cellular IoT combined proposal of narrowband machine to machine and narrowband orthogonal frequency division multiple access. Alcatel-Lucent, Ericsson and Nokia proposed narrowband LTE. Cooperative ultra narrowband, that is proposed by Sigfox. Three modes of operations are applicable to narrowband. Those are standalone, in-band and guard band. Standalone. A GSM carrier is used as an narrowband IoT carrier, enabling reuse of 900 MHz or 1800 MHz in standalone. In-band, part of an LTE carrier frequency band is allocated for use as an NB IoT frequency. The service provider typically makes this allocation and IoT devices are configured accordingly. In guard band, an narrowband IoT carrier is between the LTE or WCDMA bands. It requires coexistence between LTE and NB-IoT bands. NB-IoT and other LTE variations. In this, we are going to study topology now. This uses star topology. NB-IoT is defined with a link budget of 164 dB. Compare this with GPRS link budget of 144 dB that is used by many machine-to-machine services. Competitive technologies. In licensed bands, it is expected that third generation partnership project narrowband IoT will be the adopted low power wide area technology when it is fully available. The last slide shows various access technologies. As we have discussed in our previous video, similarly here we are having or comparing each characteristics with different access technologies. As we have studied access technologies like IEEE 802.15.4, IEEE 802.15.4G/4E, IEEE 1901.2A, IEEE 802.11AH, LoRaWAN, and finally narrowband Internet of Things. Here characteristics are like wired or wireless, how much frequency bands it is having, or each access technology is working under which frequency band, and whether it is a licensed one or unlicensed one, which topology each access technologies are going to use, range of each technology and data rate are explained, and this table is self-explanatory. So I don't want to go with explanation of this table. Just you can, by looking at table, we can see all these 5 characters with respect to each access technologies. I hope you will go through this table and understand easily. Thank you one and all.